Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I want to talk about Joel Embiid's tweet about the Miami Heat. He essentially said the Miami Heat need another star. And a lot of people are going to take it a lot of different ways, and I think he intended it to be taken a million different ways. I think one thing he's doing is legitimately, objectively looking at the same thing the rest of us are looking at and realizing that the Miami Heat are lacking star power. Quite simply, they could use another guy who could score 28, 30 points. That would put them in a very, very strong position to have enough scoring to beat a team like the Celtics on a night where they really wasn't playing that great anyway. So I think Joel was watching that game and he said, yeah, that's exactly what they need. They need more talent. Star power specifically. I think also he's throwing a little shade at one of his centers counterparts, Bam Adebayo, someone who's knocked him out of the playoffs, somebody who's I'm pretty sure he's had his battles with, to say the least. I think that's a legitimate way of looking at it. I think another thing he's doing is putting a little pressure on his organization, all right, letting them know that their next move better be their best move, because obviously with James Harden's financial situation as is, coach, his situation as is, and go on down the line, you look at Philadelphia and you say, I don't know how stable the situation is right now. I don't know if they're going to actually pay James Harden this amount, and if so, where does that leave me in terms of, do I have enough talent around me? Do I fit with James as he starts to go forward in whatever phase of his career he's entering? That's not a good situation. Joel has already made endless amounts of sacrifices for this team, including sitting out for seasons at a time while they take their time trying to get his conditioning up. Never demanded a trade throughout the entire process of all the stuff that was going on. Never asked for a trade. Never much complain about anything, but it's been a lot to complain about, and they've fallen short a lot in some situations where you would feel like they shouldn't. They had lesser talent in situations where I'm sure they expected to win. So, yeah, that's him applying pressure, man. He's definitely saying, yo, you guys need to make sure that you get me the talent that I want around me, because I can always look elsewhere and feel a need for a team like Miami. And I think the last thing he's doing is letting Miami know, hey, look, man, y'all need to start. Maybe I'm the guy you need. Maybe you can kind of dream about me down the road. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm thinking about South Beach. Maybe the next place I want to be is there. So I think he's giving you all of that at once. And Bron taught him good, man. Bron taught the entire league how to do this. When you're unhappy, all you gotta do is send out a little tweet that's gonna make people go crazy, and people will go crazy. Both the media, the fans, and whoever's behind the scenes that needs to make moves, they too will be feeling that pressure. And like I said earlier in the year, and I've said this many times on this channel, Joel Embiid's going to wake up one morning and realize Philadelphia is not the place he should be trying to establish himself going forward, based on a lot of what we've seen already. I think their situation could be a lot worse, obviously. We know the Lakers situation's a bit worse than that, but at the end of the day, their situation will be a lot better. And you consider the type of talent they've had, and then you consider what they're prioritizing at this point, how hard they went after James Harden when it was clear to see that James Harden was no longer the player that they were first dreaming about, but they still wanted to go after him anyway. That just wasn't a very good decision for Joel, and not in his timeline and what his trajectory is. Misevaluating James Harden's talent, and then going forward, missing the opportunity to re-sign him in an extension, making him a free agent right now, thus thrusting them into a position where they have to figure out how to keep him or let him go. That was just an error. That was like literally a mistake that causes a lot of what's to come. So, you seen that with, this is why I say the things I do. It's important that detail be paid attention to, all the stuff, in terms of all the stuff that's behind the scenes. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to get it right the first time, or otherwise it can have some reverberating, effects on your franchise and how the players on your team ultimately feel about being there. So that's what we're seeing. Joel Embiid is looking around and he's saying, you know what? Yeah, I'm not so happy right now. here we go. Not even making it to the conference finals again. I'm hurt, and y'all don't even have a legitimate backup for me to rest my broken face and hand. Can't even get through a game without me. I got to rush back into the playoffs to beat a team that we should probably be good enough to beat in Toronto, just for us to get knocked out by a Miami team who ain't very good, as we can clearly see in the series after he's been ousted. And he looks at his franchise and probably says, they need a star. We lost to a team that needs more than what they had when they beat us. And I think that right there speaks to a lot of different things that he could be communicating as well, trying to apply some pressure to the Philadelphia team and apply a little sideways blame for why he's in the position he's in, tweeting instead of playing. I think at the end of the day, nothing's about to happen this offseason with Joel Embiid, because it doesn't look likely that he'll be healthy enough for anything like to get traded or nothing like that. He's going to have to go get the surgeries that are necessary for him to start the season healthy. So hopefully those are already done. I didn't check, I don't know, but it would have been wise for him to have already had those surgeries. Both of them, if it's 2 surgeries, one for the thumb, and I don't know about the face. But all in all, yeah, I don't expect him to be moving teams, even if he actually feels a need to at this point. It just doesn't seem realistic that would even be possible. But I'll tell you this: if he's still in a situation where he's not where he needs to be, it would be perfectly reasonable for him to look up and want out. I'll tell you that. That we can definitely see coming around. They better make their next move their best move. If they're going to keep Doc Rivers, they better make sure his staff is strong. Make sure his bench is strong. Don't leave him out there with just a couple players. Like they did last year. They were relying on some people that probably shouldn't even be on the team, to be completely honest with you. So get themselves some depth. Maybe get rid of some dead weight. Do some scouting or whatever needs to be done to get better. And, you won't hear about Joel Embiid commenting on other franchises. Not without expressing something attached to that allows people to know that he's not trying to be expressive in any other way. The fact that he didn't say anything else and then didn't follow it up with anything else lets me know that he definitely is communicating plenty. So that's that, man. Joel knows if he wants to come to LA, I'm always going to welcome that. I'll tell you right now, all the talk about all these different people they trying to get, if Joel Embiid is available, that's the person we need to be going after for whatever $200 million worth of money that we got. If we ain't got no picks, we got nothing, we need one of those guys. We need Joel, we need Giannis, we need a superhuman that can help us stay in contention regardless of what our situation is. And LeBron James is normally that guy, but we're in year 20 now, so that's really what it is. If you're gonna go all in on the cap space cramming of 3 players, make sure they're monsters straight up and down. So that's pretty much it, man. Hopefully Anthony Davis can come back as that, although his conditioning and what we've seen tells us that that's just not what to expect anymore. If you get him the right running mate, I think he can be amazing again. I do. I just think you got to move him back to the power forward. You imagine? I don't know. I'm just dreaming. Ain't nothing real about this. But nevertheless, when you consider that the NBA is still doing the small ball thing and everybody's so tiny, it may actually be tough to consider what bringing in a big man means right now. Even a guy like Joel Embiid, you're hesitant looking at how things are going with these small players and he's shooting and all that. But I would caution everybody to remember that size is ultimately what's going to win this thing, not shooting. Because if that were the case, Dallas would be in a much more advantageous position right now than they are. The sole reason why they're not in a better spot is because they don't have size. Like Bam, like Joel, like AD. So we need to keep that in mind. So that's what I got, man. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to comment a little bit on Joel's statement. Tell you all that I see there. Maybe it's most of that, maybe it's nothing. I don't know, but definitely one thing's for sure. I do agree with him. Miami Heat need another star. Now, whether or not that star is Joel Embiid, we'll see. We'll see. ADL44, thank y'all for watching.